surprising move here. It looks like the New England Patriots plan to release their center, David Andrews. The 8-time captain, 2-time Super Bowl champion, is now officially no longer going to be a part of the Patriots franchise, which is extremely weird to say. I feel like with David Andrews, he's just been so influential in the locker room. He's been great on the field, but unfortunately, he is battling father time, and he is having to recover from a very extensive shoulder injury. So the Patriots are now looking to get younger and trying to win some ball games, and David Andrews only played 4 games last year because of that season-ending shoulder injury in Week 4 against San Francisco 49ers. I'm Allie Barefoot, the host of Patriots Today by Chat Sports. If you guys haven't already, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me. This is the week to be subscribed to Patriots Today, as everything is happening on offense and on defense, including releasing veteran players like David Andrews. So they did say that if David does plan to retire, they're still going to hold a ceremony for him for the Patriots because he's been such a great player for the longest tenure for the Patriots. So I'm glad they're going to decide to have this kind of ceremony for him if he does decide to retire. It's kind of like what they did for Julian Edelman. You know, he was struggling with a knee injury towards the end of his career, but David Andrews has been very, very realistic about this possibility of the releasing has happened. When he did get that shoulder surgery, and he is 32 years old, and he's unfortunately pushing up against father time, he said, look, I know this is a tough business. The organization might come to me and tell me it's time to move on. I might get to OTAs or training camp, and I know I can't do it. If the organization decides to go in a different way, that's their choice. And I hope that's not the case, which is extremely heartbreaking to read now because obviously this is the direction they are going to go in. But he continued to say, I want to play football. I've done this for a long time, 26 years. I'd like to make it to 27 and see where it goes from there, but I'm going to try to do it. Maybe the Patriots knew something that we don't yet about David Andrews' recovery, but this is going to be an extremely tough role to fill at that center position. So I want you guys to go on ahead, just give the captain some love in the comment section down below. Just go on ahead and spam his number in the comment section. If you guys haven't already, I think that this is going to be a huge adjustment for the Patriots moving forward, as this has been such a staple for the offensive line for several years now. They did just recently sign Ben Brown to a 1-year deal in the offseason, but we saw Ben Brown last year. It really wasn't anything that was going to be able to push the needle for the Patriots moving forward. Thankfully, the NFL draft, you could possibly look at some offensive linemen there, maybe even now in free agency or possibly for a trade. But he actually was one of the longest tenured Patriots on the roster alongside long snapper Joe Cardona, which obviously was another captain as well. Unfortunately, I really wanted to see one more season of Andrews. I know I got a lot of pushback on that when I made my perfect offensive line video the other week, but I just think that David Andrews still has more left in the tank, but unfortunately it looks like the Patriots might think differently. With Drake May now being the face of the franchise, I thought having a veteran center like Andrews is going to be the perfect pairing. That's why they're trying to get him a veteran pass catcher, and they're trying to get him a veteran right tackle and a left tackle possibly. But with a guy like David Andrews, you really just can't put that much on his shoulders anymore. Literally. The weight of the team, and also now recovering from that shoulder surgery, it's going to be very interesting to see how they decide to move on from a legend for the Patriots and what he has been for the locker room for the last almost decade as an 8-time captain now. He is still rehabilitating, and there hasn't been any announcement on whether or not David Andrews is going to retire. I do think that it's probably what is going to happen. I can't imagine Andrews trying to test the free agency market and trying to be signed as a 32-year-old center, trying to recover from this type of shoulder injury. But I am very glad the Patriots are going to honor Andrews in a retirement ceremony if he does end up making that decision, because that was a pretty intense shoulder surgery that he did have to go through last year. So I'm very intrigued to see what his recovery time would look like and what his statement would probably be, knowing that maybe he did play his last snap as a New England Patriot. But Andrews, he has played in 124 regular season games with 121 starts and 12 playoff games with 10 starts. He was also selected to be on Patriots 2010's all-decade team, and this obviously is just a great story of coming from an undrafted free agent in 2015 to being a week one starter as a rookie, and then now one of the Patriots' top players over the last decade. I mean, he's played with Brady, he has been through the Mac Jones era, and now he's tried to enter into the Drake May era as well, but there are so many moving pieces to this offensive line and defensive line. The Patriots trying to move on from some older players. They did just allow Jonathan Jones to test the free agent market, and he signed with the Washington Commanders. They did the same thing for Dietrich Wise Jr. He also signed with the Commanders, so now they're going to have a couple of teammates there in the NFC East. But I feel like they're just trying to get younger, and I actually kind of like this move. They are and they aren't, because they did just sign 34-year-old Morgan Moses to the offensive line, but Moses is typically healthy. Yeah, he's got some bumps and bruises, but he played majority of the games last season, and he plays through a lot of injuries as well. As a center recovering from a very intense shoulder surgery at 32 years old, that's just going to be a surgery that may end up resulting in this action right here. The Patriots releasing their 8-time captain, Andrews. I saw a lot of you guys in the comment section wanting this to happen, not so much because of the person, but just because of the player. Knowing that father time is something that you really can't mess with for a long period, and I think that Andrews just unfortunately kicked the can and played his last snap for the Patriots. A University of Georgia alum, he is long credited for Bill Belichick providing the opportunity to play in the NFL and saying he was the only head coach to personally work him out before the 2015 draft. So another player that we do have to thank Bill Belichick for seeing the possibility and seeing what he could be. And I just want you guys to go on ahead and just give me your one-word reaction in the comment section down below to releasing David Andrews. It feels very weird to say, but he knew this was going to be a possibility. He was very realistic in the business side of football, and he did everything that he could to try and play in 2024, and it didn't go as well. He debated for a while in 2024 after that season-ending injury whether or not to have surgery, what that surgery was going to look like. Can I still play? Can I just fight through the pain because I want to continue playing for this team? Because maybe Andrews knew this may be his last season as a center for New England, so he really did teeter back and forth on the decision to possibly suit up again in 2024, but ultimately his body just wasn't capable of doing so, and it looks like that may be the case moving forward here in 2025. He had the decision to make a surgery. The surgery did go well, but I just don't think that a 32-year-old center has anything left to give. The Patriots do plan to release David Andrews. If he decides to retire, they will hold a ceremony for him. If you guys haven't already, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me. If the Patriots decide to do anything in free agency, I will make a video about it right here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports.